Welcome back to the hive, everyone. Here we are. I was going to rush getting back into our Hello Alice quilt. However, you know, Coraline has made it home. She enjoyed her spa time. We're going to give her a day to rest though, because we just finished playing with making half square triangles, and a really great question was brought up. What are the finished sizes of all those triangles? And I want to share that with you because it's an important piece. I illustrated that they get smaller and smaller as you go. And I will say the sizes I'm going to give you, those are based on my 1/4 inch seam. I always encourage you measure, 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 but just getting right into it. Our 2 at a time method, those were the first 2 that we did. Those were 9.5-inch square when we were done. The 4 at a time method ended up being 6.5-inch square. The 8 at a time method, those came out 4.5-inch squared. And then the 16 were 3.5. And actually, they were just shy of 3.5. And the last one, the 32s, were 2-inch squares, which was really awesome. You can play with bigger and smaller sizes together. You can, square them up using the tools that I showed last time to make the specific block size that you want. So there's a lot of variables in there that you can mess with, tweak it a little bit. But today is going to be a pretty short video. I wanted to show you what I meant. And I'm taking my 32-inch squares, my 32 squares, half-inch half square triangles, if I could get it out. I'm going to take these and I'm going to show you what I meant by playing with them, and how, depending on how you position them, what all the things you can do. Because 32, that's a lot. You can do quite a bit with that. So let's get into it. So here we have our pile of half square triangles, and I am going to attempt to make a letter with these. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go kind of back and forth. I think I'm going to make the letter P. So I'm going to create the stem. And now I'm going to start to rotate around. You can kind of see how you've got quite a bit of play with them. And again, we're going to make the turn. And we'll come, maybe it didn't need to be such a big P, but first time for everything. You can, start with one thing and then adjust it. In fact, I think we can actually start the turn there. That actually might work better. And then another turn here, and then one there. And, obviously when these are all sewn together, they're going to play much nicer with each other, but you get the idea. You've got a rough P shape, and you can even, so we showed you our flying geese and positioning these like so and making them into their own blocks. And then all you would need is to do a square here, a 2-inch square here, a 2-inch square here, here, and here, and you would have star legs. Oops, these ones are turned wrong. That's why that wasn't working. Here we go. And truly, I mean, it can really, be a little confusing. Just that's why I say take your time, take a look at what you're doing. But now you can see where these are star legs, these are star legs, these are star legs. You've got your square, and you would just sew these together, sew these together. This does not have to be one specific square of anything. You'll just want to measure what the distance here is and the distance here, which should be the same. And that's what your square needs to end up being on the inside. You could do a square and a square inside there, or you can fussy cut something fun, and have it pop out at the person looking at the quilt. And then you can just do background squares, or the things that you can do are endless. I would probably try to do a fussy cut, or I try to match this, and have that just be one colored square, and then have these be this pattern, and make it kind of cohesive in that way. You can use, these ones are small enough, you can use them to accentuate the border of your quilt. That's something else that you can do with these. You can also use them to finish out a pattern that's inside of the quilt and draw it to the outside. You can do hatch marks. You can actually do stair steps. Leading, you can actually design them in a way that makes a big square with just one part of the half square triangle. You can also, with more variety, say you had differing colors, say you have blue and green and maybe a blue and this pink, you can actually design something that is gradient with these. But I just wanted to show you, a few ideas just off the cuff of what you can do with this block. So If you haven't watched it already, go back and check out my previous uh, 2 videos on how to make half square triangles the easy way, and give it a try. And you don't have to stick with 10-inch squares. I've run into an issue where I've had leftover fabric. I mean, how is that ever an issue? It's leftover fun. But it's only measured maybe to 8 inches, and I'll make an 8-inch square and I'll work with that. That's the fun of fabric, is when you remove the idea of it has to be a certain size and you make it your own, you actually are making a whole new quilt that is all your own and all your own creation. So there you have it. It's not a set in stone what you have to use half square triangles for. You can do a lot. I'm sure there are many of you out there that are already bubbling with ideas, and I encourage that. The whole point of this is to show you the versatility of this very simple block. It goes together so easy. You get a bunch of them together and they can create a whole quilt, and you're the designer. So put your creative juices to work, see what you come up with. Next week, I'm going to be quilting the Hello Alice 3D illusion quilt. We're finally going to get back to that. I'm very excited for that because it's such pretty fabric. But that doesn't mean this is it for skills building. If there is a block that you'd like me to walk through and just go step by step, I am happy to do that. Leave it in the comments and I will definitely make that happen. Thank you so much for being here today. I've enjoyed our time and I can't wait to see you when you come back to the hive next time. Until then, take care, folks.